3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to episode 180 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And I'm in the doghouse.
Yeah, to say the least.
See, it is Valentine's Day. And this is our third time.
This is the third time that we're recording this because, well, I wouldn't even say that we're recording it. This is the third time that we're doing it because
First time
Lovey forgot to turn his microphone on. Then the second time we did the whole podcast, he didn't record it on Valentine's Day. So this is how I want to spend my day.
She is irritated. Ooh-wee.
It's funny because it's Lovey. That's why it's funny, but it's not funny because I'm irritated that we have to do this again. So
y'all missed some good stuff.
Always, huh?
So they missed some good stuff too.
I know, and I'm like, now we got to try to recreate it. You know how it's not the same when you. Anyway, it's a long story. I don't even want to talk about it.
Hey, stick it out though. But hey, like we did say that it is Valentine's Day.
Stick it out for who? Me? I have no choice.
Them. We want them to listen.
Stick it out.
She's like, okay, here's the podcast. It's not going to be
yeah,
near
I'm like
as good.
10 minutes.
No.
That's it.
Well, look, hey, imagine how I felt starting off. Here's how my Valentine's Day began. With a guy shoving something up my woohoo or yoo-hoo. I can't say it's a PG rated.
Oh my goodness. Your private parts.
Private parts, right. So nothing says Happy Valentine's Day like getting a cystoscopy. As you know, we've been very transparent about our medical situations and the things that have been going on. There's me with the bladder cancer, which is in remission, and it's Snooks with her newly established heart condition.
Newly established.
Well,
yeah. So today it's not ironic, I guess. It's just kind of funny. So it's Valentine's Day, and I had to go to the heart doctor. So I guess that's, I don't know if it's appropriate or what, but yeah, I had my cardiology appointment this morning. So that's how we spend our mornings at the doctor.
That we did, but we held hands, looking like that old couple. What'd you do for Valentine's Day? Well, me and Snooks, we went to the doctor. First, I went to the urologist, and then she went to the cardiologist, but we held hands the whole time.
Silly.
And that's pretty much how our day began. And we did go to lunch. We did spend some time, doing stuff like that. What we didn't do is go get a pedicure. We talked about going together and doing that, but the day just got away from us.
We did not. We came home, and we sat on the couch.
We watched a movie. What did you do?
Yeah.
What did you as a couple? How do you spend Valentine's Day? And is it even important to you? I will say this.
The day?
Well, yeah, I mean, just the day in itself. But before we even get into that, let that mull over. But I'm going to invite each and every one of you.
Each?
All right. I'm going to invite you guys to go visit another podcast. It's called The Scenario Radio Show. That is an amazing podcast where you've got 3 great hosts, and what they do is they talk to speak to a variety of different topics. But what they did was they invited us. We were blessed to be one of 3 couples that participated in their Black Love mixtape series, and it started airing today. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, a variety of different podcast hosts wherever you download your podcast. Look for The Scenario Radio Show. And it's kind of cool. We were the longest married, or I should say the longest tenured couple that was on the show.
Yeah, there was 3. And the thing that was kind of cool, too, where it was 3 couples, and each couple, that was 3 married couples, and each married couple had their own podcast. So it was about Black love, but it incorporated 3 podcasters. 3 podcasting couples. The first couple was married for 1 year. The second couple was married for 10 years. And we, of course, celebrated our 25th year in January.
Yeah, so it was off. We laughed. If you want to get some good laughs,
Yeah.
hear some good music, and they also have a playlist that's that they curated that's on Spotify as well. It's the Black Love mixtape. Look for the most recent one. This isn't the first year that they've done this, so we're immensely blessed and thankful and grateful that they reached out to us and included us in this year's segment. So that was a lot of fun.
Also, just real quick before we forget, this Saturday is the Married Mastery Meetup, and we were blessed to be able to do this in October. So we're doing another one this month for Valentine's
Yeah, exactly. So
for Love Month or whatever.
on the 19th. So we're going to have a link to that in the show notes. Feel free to go ahead and register for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We had a blast last year when we did it. And again, immensely grateful and thankful that we were invited to participate again this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you have 4 different speakers that'll be participating, including us. So good time. This is upcoming Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to approximately 1:30 or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So definitely check that out. It's going to be a good time. So since we're paying the bills right now, talking about the things that are going on, be sure you go over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Put 5 stars on it, as well as a review, and then leave a review over at Spotify as well. And the last thing I'm going to bring up is for you to go over to marriedintocrazy.com. There's a couple of things we'd love for you to do. Check out the website. Of course, take a look at our coaching tab and see if we're the couple that you would want to just sit across the table, so to speak, the virtual table, and have a conversation and allow us to walk that journey with you and going from maybe needs improvement to good, from good to great, from great to phenomenal, whatever your particular journey may be. And sometimes it's just about being 1% better. And we offer some of the resources that we have through the Gottman Institute, as well as our own resources that we've created with our crazy platform. But reach out, do a discovery call. It's anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes just to chat and talk for free and see if it's a good match.
Yeah, and the last thing is our Facebook Iron Tribe Marriage Community. Make sure that you check that out. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of married couples or people just, coming through. Lovey puts up the reels. Is that what it's called? Videos.
Every now and then, yeah. And there's
Videos.
questions. There's a variety of different things. But yeah,
You can be interactive. So
different ways. So if you feel like Snooks is like, what's wrong with her? Why is her energy down? Because this is her 3rd taping. and so it's late at night, and I'm just asking you to keep your energy up, girl. Come on. It's Valentine's Day. You can't keep up.
My energy
She can't keep up. Y'all heard it. She can't keep up on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, on the podcast.
No, so you know what? It begs the question, though. I think we should revisit this. That there's a lot of questions as to whether or not people should even, I guess, participate in or celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, I won't say I feel like, but we have conversations with people, and some people feel like Valentine's Day is too commercialized. It's you shouldn't be just worrying about showing your love and appreciation just one day out of the year. That's something that you should be doing all the time, and I agree with all that. But I wonder too, for those people that are giving the argument against Valentine's Day, how are they showing their love and appreciation and affection? Are we saying that because we don't want to go buy the flowers or go buy the gifts and go to the dinners, and because it's requiring money out of our pockets? Or are we saying that because we really are truly celebrating our love and affection for each other every day or as much as possible? So I mean, I like Valentine's Day, and it's funny.
You like every holiday.
I was about to say, but I like everything. I don't like everything, but if it's about love, I'm all for it. I don't think that you should only be showing your affection and love just one day of the year. But if that's motivating you to at least do it, do it, and then maybe you'll improve and start doing more. Make it 2 days, and then make it 3 days, or
right.
Or
Let it be that spark.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it should be 365, 24/7. But if not, let's make it 200, 24/7. Let's make it 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it may be, but if you have to start with one, then start with one.
Right. And don't just say you're against it because you don't want to spend money on it.
And, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. It's just one day. But okay, well, do you celebrate your birthday? Do you celebrate Christmas? Do you celebrate anniversaries? Because those are just one day.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not make it a thing. Let's make sure that it's the intent behind the holiday in itself that we should be focused on. And so I saw something. I know you were taking notes, and you sent me a message earlier in the week, and or this weekend rather. And
This week.
I want to talk about it. It's true love. I'm really curious as to whether or not what people think when it comes to, is that a thing? Does true love exist? Now, do you think there's such a thing as true love?
Yeah, I do. I mean, love, I don't know if is it true love or is it, if you say there's a certain thing as true love, then what's there's true
Fake
or
love?
false?
Oh, false love?
So there's false love, there's true love. Love is love. I mean, real love is true love, I feel like. Um, because it's emotions. It's the way I feel about my partner. It's how I want to show my appreciation, show my love. I'm willing to compromise or sacrifice or put him above, I want to say, my needs, my wants, or whatever. If I'm like, oh, I really want to do blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, but I want to. I mean, I'm willing to say, okay, well, we can do your thing this time. But it goes back and forth. I'm not just always sacrificing what it is I want to do or what I feel is important. Lovey does the same thing. So I feel like when it's true love, it's not that we're looking for reciprocity, but it just naturally happens.
Well, what's the definition? I mean, what?
Oh, so I did look up. Um,
I want to know what true love really is.
well, I mean, true love is not something that can be. I think true love is relative.
Okay.
Because everyone's going to have their own definition of what true love is. I did look up on the internet to see what it said it is. It says true love is a strong and lasting affection between spouses and lovers who are in a happy, passionate, and fulfilling relationship. An example of true love is the emotion shared between a couple who has been married for 40 years and who are still passionate about each other and care deeply for each other. So, the example, I'm glad that they put in the example emotion shared, um, and they're still passionate about each other and care deeply for each other, because I know some people that have been married for a very long time, but I don't see the passion or the caring deeply. Not that they have to show it to me, but it's just even the way that they talk about each other or the way that they talk to each other. That kind of stuff for me, it just it would just show itself. Some people are not into PDA,
That's
public displays of affection. And that's fine. If you're not, it doesn't have to be a overwhelming PDA. We hold hands. That's our thing. You better not walk away from me and not hold my hand.
Amen.
I take offense.
I've tried.
I know you're ashamed, but that's just my thing. For me, that's important. We're together, and I want to hold hands, so we're gonna hold hands. But just because I think that some people mistake longevity for quality. It's not quantity of years; it's what the quality of those years are. So, that's kind of where I think about it.
No, okay. So, is there a difference between? And I agree with you. I do think that there was one word that stood out in your definition, and that was fulfilling.
Mm.
And I think true love has to be a fulfilling love, to a certain extent.
That's why I say for me, I think it's relative, because what's fulfilling for me may not be fulfilling for another person.
True.
So if as long as I'm fulfilled and my needs are being met, or my wants or my desires, then for me that's a true love.
Now, do you think there's a difference between a true love and a pure love?
Well, kind of like you said before too. Sorry. Um,
See, my definition is this: like, if you're talking about what's the difference between a true love and a pure love, I think that, like earlier, like that puppy love, that first love, I think those have a tendency to be not so much true love, though it can be. But I think more times than not, that's more of a pure love. Like, that's your first time that your heart really opened up and you were vulnerable, and it just, some of it may have been hormonal, but the great majority of it, quite seriously, was really more about opening yourself up to someone else, and it was fulfilling because it created these feelings and this, I don't call it dependency, but this awareness that you never had before, that you could feel a certain way. And I think that's pure.
So when I think of pure love, I don't know why, but it reminds me of like the white red wedding gowns. What they stand for, it's pure. It's something that's never happened before. Kind of like you're saying, it's innocent. It's just I don't know, but I always think of, whoa, pure, because pure, white equates to innocence and almost virginal in a sense of heartstrings or whatever, and it's not until we lose our innocence. When I say loss of innocence, I'm talking about, your first heartbreak and that kind of thing. Now you're open to, it becomes something totally different.
Do you remember your first love?
Yeah, I do.
Was it a pure love or was it a true love?
It was very pure.
Okay.
I think it was true. I mean, it was true to what I knew it to be.
So can you have multiple true loves?
Yeah. I don't think you can't. I don't think that, I don't know if people say, oh, you only have one. No, I totally disagree with that.
Really? Okay.
I totally disagree with that, because who's to say, okay, so we have an aunt who, and other people who have lost their spouses, they had true love and then their spouse died. So do they just say, well, that's it? I can't go through this. I can't do this again.
Well, it's not so
It'll
much.
never happen again. But then they find someone else.
But are you positive that the someone else that they find is another true love? Do you only marry your true love?
No, well, no, I'm just using that as an example, as when you say, can you have more than one? So if something happened to you, because you're my true love, if something happened to you and then years later or whatever, I was to meet someone else and
It would just be love.
it would, they can't be true.
It wouldn't be true. It would not be your true love.
So
I am your true love.
So you don't think that
I'm your
you
one
can
and
have-
only. I'm your one and only true love.
Is it because it's you, or is this because you just
Damn,
feel like
Skippy,
it only
because it's me.
So you don't feel like you can have you? Do you feel like you can only have one true love in your whole life?
I think that you're extremely beyond fortunate if you can experience two true loves.
Okay, so why is it that you feel you can only have one?
Because I believe that it's almost like, I don't want to call it a unicorn, but it's one of those things that there's such a level of vulnerability and giving of self that goes into it that I just feel like it's so much to give that I find it hard to believe that except for rare occasions, that you would have more than one true love. With the exception, and I'm talking about a romantic love. I mean, I have true love with all my children. Each one of them is a true love in their own right. But I think that as far as romantically inclined, here we are in our 50s, and I know that you are my only true love that I've ever experienced.
So you've never been in love before me?
I think I've been in love. I think I've loved people. I've had a pure love. I've had a first love. But I think from a true love, that's almost like a soulmate. Where, I mean, is it possible? I mean, it may be controversial. Maybe you can have more than one. But from my standpoint, my vantage point, I don't know that I could ever love anybody the way I love you.
That's because I'm me.
That's
So,
true. True that.
There's that.
There's that, of course, right? Yeah, there's that. Yeah, whatever.
So, whatever.
No, but I truly, I can't possibly imagine loving somebody the way that I love you.
Well, I feel the same way. And I think that I hope that everyone, when they're in their relationships, they feel that way.
Well, do they though? I know you've got some
I said,
stats.
I hope.
You've got some statistics I want you to get into that I think speak to some of this about how people do feel as it pertains to true love.
Yeah. So I did take some notes. And so there's three different categories: married, divorced, and never married. Have you ever experienced true love? 85% of the married people said yes, and 15% said no. So I
Stop.
found that to be very
So
interesting.
yeah, stop there. So 15% people are married. So of the people that were, how many people were polled?
It's like 1,900 people that were polled just in North America. So it was only Americans. It's not
So,
worldwide.
okay. But 15% of those individuals that were married said that they had never experienced true love. So they were married, took vows,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel as if that person that they sleep next to every night
Mm-hmm.
is not their true love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because you think about it, some people get married for just security. Some people get married because they have to. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know,
there's a lot of reasons, but okay.
and so of the divorced people, 60% said yes, that they've experienced true love. 40% said no. So these are people that have been married, and they feel like even when they were married, they did not experience true love. And of the never married category, 43% said yes, they've experienced true love. 57% said no, they haven't experienced true love. So,
Very interesting. It's kind of telling, though. You see how the numbers shifted as you go from married to divorced to never. It's like everything started shifting over a little bit.
but even think about it. Does true love exist? 86% said yes, true love exists, and 14% said no, they don't think that true love exists.
So for about 15% of the individuals
That were polled,
they were polled, they believe that it doesn't even exist.
that it doesn't exist. 14% doesn't
But
think
the
that
great
it
majority,
doesn't.
I mean, you're talking 86% of those individuals said that, yes, true love does exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the older we get, the more you live, the more experience you acquire, increases your propensity for actually finding or experiencing that true love.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Because in anything, if, like you said, the older you are, the more experience that you typically have, hopefully, and that goes. It would make sense that it would go with love too. So, for ages 18 to 29%, 50%, 56% said they've experienced it. 30 to the ages 30 to 44, 65% said yes, they've experienced it. Ages 45 to 64, 69% said yes, they've experienced it. And over 65 and above said 75% yes, said yes, they've experienced it.
So yeah, it's interesting. But my mind just keeps racing back to those individuals that were married and said that they had not experienced it. I also think of some people that have experienced true love. I can think of somebody off the top of my head right now. I'm not gonna say any names that I know. I've known practically my entire life. That when she was a little girl, her pure love, the first person that she fell in love with when she was a little girl, like, oh, I love him, I'm gonna marry him. She grew up, and she did marry him, and it is. She'll tell you to this very day that yes, this gentleman is her true love, but they are now divorced, and they're still good friends, and it's still her true love, but there were circumstances that forced her to have to move on, and yet she still calls him her true love. And I think there's something there where people know. So I guess it's like do you believe that there's such a thing as a soulmate?
I think so. I mean, I feel like we're soulmates, and I feel like soulmates are those that, I don't want to say they complete you, because you should already be complete before
Right,
are
I
a
get
whole
you there.
person. But it's like, how much do you add to me? What
A
do
whole lot.
how wow,
No,
okay. We complement each other,
amen.
Um we're yin and yang.
Right?
Is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it flip flops.
Yeah. So it's that thing where we fit and we mold. It's like puzzle piece. You can't just put any piece in any.
Amen. And that's why I said that I am your true love, and you will never find anybody if something was to happen to me, because I'm
just
that
buy
puzzle
another
piece
puzzle.
that fits. Oh, you can buy a new puzzle. Dang. Wow. Okay.
Let's buy another puzzle.
Well,
That's funny.
you know, it's funny. Is life? I don't know. Is life supposed to be like those romantic comedies that you?
But okay, even before you go there though, there might be some pieces. You to think about it. There are some pieces that fit, where they're not supposed to fit.
Well, it's because you hammer them in. I mean,
No,
you
I
force
mean
'em.
because I could have two identical pieces. They're shaped the same, but they don't. Only one fits because of the way that the color is going. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. It completes the pattern.
Yeah. So there's that. So there may always be someone who fits a certain, you know, a certain piece, that puzzle piece, but they don't necessarily fit that pattern.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying.
Okay, I'm trying to get it and make
No,
it
because
make
you're like
sense.
right. Because there's a certain imprint. Like if you're talking about a puzzle, there's an imprint that's supposed to fit a certain place. Now, just because it has the shape and all that fits, but when you put it in the puzzle, it just even though it it fits, it's not fulfilling. It's not like okay, it's
It
not.
just doesn't go there.
It doesn't go there, and I get that, and I think that sometimes maybe that's what happens. People find those parts that fit, but it's not quite right.
Well, or kind of to your point too, like you said, you try to hammer that piece in,
We do that a lot.
just because.
He look, girl. He got a job. Those are all his real teeth.
But
He got a nice car. You know, he treats his mama good. You know, he got a house. This, that, and the other. He treats me real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and marry him. But do
and
you love him?
I love what he represents. I love what he stands for. I love that, just like you said, all those other things that he does, those exterior things. I love that, he works and he doesn't like to hang out or blah, 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 whatever. So there are qualities or characteristics of a person we can love about them, but not necessarily love that person. And I think sometimes that some people get stuck on because we get how do I say this? It's like some people are afraid that if I don't grab him, I might be by myself.
Nothing else is gonna come along.
Nothing else is going to come along. I don't necessarily want him because of he fulfills some of the whatever, but not necessarily all of them. But just because I'm afraid that I might be stuck by myself. I might be.
There's this song remember that one song? If you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Who was that? Full Force.
It was not Full Force.
They sang that. Yes, they did.
Okay, they sang a remake. I'm
Okay,
thinking
it
of
was
the
a
1970s.
remix. Well, no, I'm just thinking.
It's like love the one you're with.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of Full Force. If you can't be with the one you love, you better love the one you with. Or am I moving too fast? Whatever, something like
I
that.
don't remember that. I hung out with
Yeah,
a lot of white
bow-legged
people.
Luke.
I was listening to general pop stations, I guess. But I remember the original. But I mean, talking about relationships and
There's nothing wrong with the temporary love thing. That they said that in that song. Sorry, temporary love. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to get it out.
I guess. But no, it's one of those things where it's like we should be better than that. As far as just loving the one you're with. And I get that it's situational. There's times. What if you haven't come across that true love? Your statistics speak to the longer we're around. You don't have to force that puzzle piece. As you get older and you get exposure, and you might come across that person that is that true love for you?
Well, it's funny because you just said the word. I think exposure. There's so many people that say they're looking for a love, or they want to be in a relationship or whatever. It's like, okay, so what is it that you do? Well, I go to work and then I go home and I might go to the store. Well, how are you gonna meet somebody? I mean, you have to
Doing
open
the same thing
yourself up.
over and over again. No,
You know what
it's
I'm
about
saying?
vulnerability though. It's like doing something new, being more vulnerable. The challenge is people don't want to be vulnerable because they don't want to get hurt, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only through vulnerability that you're going to open yourself up to the opportunity
Mm.
to find that true love.
Yeah, that's true. And just, yeah, like you said, just being vulnerable, because that means that you have to open yourself up. That means you have to put yourself out there. That means you have to lay your heart on the line, and you have to risk being hurt,
Because
the possibility.
everything ain't Pretty Woman. I'm sorry, I think like Julie Roberts and all these movies that are out there that, or it's like romantic comedies, and this is how it's going to turn out, and you're going to be walking the dogs, and your dog's going to get entangled with somebody else's dogs, and you're going to dislike each other, and then you're going to see each other in the elevator, and then you're going to cuss each other out, and then your friends, unbeknownst to you, the best friends are actually friends with each other, and they invite their friends, would happen to be you and this other person, to this exclusive party, and they seat you next to each other, and all of a sudden it's like, surprise, I'm next to you, and you fall in love and get married and live happily ever after.
Well, I mean, that's how matchmaking happens, you know.
I mean,
Maybe not like, oh, because I walked the dog or whatever, but we were set up.
no, I was just saying, we were kind of a romantic comedy.
And yeah, yeah, we were a romantic comedy. If you think about it, we met. We weren't supposed. Well, we didn't want to meet each other. Took a long time to meet. When we did meet, I didn't like you initially. You liked me, um, and then we got together. It was romantic comedy until it was tragedy.
Then became a Greek tragedy.
Yeah,
Right.
it was Othello.
Right. I got stabbed.
I mean, so,
Through-
but when you think about it like that, though, you got stabbed, and then we still got married, and then 4 years later, I asked for a divorce, and you know,
We had to fight back, and figure it out. I was going to move out and had to figure it all out, and then here we are, celebrating 25 years. I mean, so
we are literally a romantic comedy. Well, we started out as a romantic comedy, then it became a tragedy, then it became a drama, and now it's back to comedy again.
I think it's a romantic comedy. I mean, you look at stuff like Four Heartbeats, Four Heartbeats. Geez, Five
I
Heartbeats.
was like, I'm finna pull your card.
That's the one movie that I won't even go into it, but look at the Five Heartbeats, and then I was trying to think of another movie.
There's a lot of movies.
There's a lot of movies, but I mean, there's tragedy. There's it gets you to emote on different levels. There's laughter. There's joy. Of course, there's the comedy. Then there's the heartfelt disappointment. Then there's the recovery, or the rebound. There's the forgiveness, and then there's the venturing out and doing something new and rediscovering that love that you thought was lost forever. And so all that goes on. So it is. I guess it's real. I mean, I don't know. I feel like.
So, for me, I'm a big romance person. I've always been, and I've heard all my life, well, up until I got married, that stuff is fake. It's not real. Um, that doesn't happen. You ain't gonna meet no one who's gonna treat you that way. Ain't no man gonna be blah blah blah. I mean, people, when it comes to authority in love, people always have something to say. Everyone's an authority of love and how things work, and but it's always going to be based on their own experiences. I find it funny that we can believe in like positive books, The Secret, and speaking things into existence, and affirmations, and if you can see it, if you can dream it, you can achieve it, or manifestation, and all of that,
Law of attraction,
all of those things. we can believe in all that stuff, but we don't feel. I feel like, but it's situational for for certain people. Oh yeah, that stuff works, but it doesn't work for relationships. Well, why not? Why doesn't it work for relationships? I mean, no one has said to me it doesn't work for relationships, but the consensus is that when you talk about, like you brought up about romance novels or romantic comedies, 6 out of 10 Americans think that romance novels and romantic comedies make true love seem easier to attain than what it really is.
You said 60%?
66 out of 10.
So 60%.
Okay, so yeah, 61% said that romance comedies and novels make true love seem easier than what it is to really achieve. 26% said romance comedies and novels make it harder, make it look like it's harder. And 13% said it pretty much looks how it really is. So, um, it I think that is all based on your own experience. So, like going back to myself, I've always read romantic books. I've always loved romantic comedies. I just love romance. I've always said that. I love love. But when in previous relationships, there were things that for me in the books that I'm like, oh, I want that. Oh yeah, I would love that. Oh, that's so the knight in shining armor, or the male the lead, he how he brought flowers, or how he opened doors, or how he looked at her and how he treated her, and those kind of things. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. But
That's what you got, girl.
I was told that doesn't happen. It's not like that. No man is going to treat me that way. No man is going to respond like that. No real man is gonna, all these things that they told me that real men just don't do. So I should just be happy, basically, that I have someone who has a job, not
And
necessarily
his real
just has a
teeth.
pulse and or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. He doesn't go out all the time, and I'm just supposed to settle. I've always said I'm never gonna settle. I'm never gonna settle. So for myself, and I think I've said this on a different podcast, um, I feel like for you were like a manifestation of what I said that I wanted. And but also what I was told that is not, it doesn't happen. It's not true. You don't exist. So I'm like, other relationships, maybe they were okay, but I didn't want just okay. I'm not trying to have longevity in just being okay. I don't want to just have, oh yeah, he's this, or I wanted what I wanted. And so when I felt like I wasn't getting that, I decided that it's just not the relationship for me. I stuck to my guns, and I still concentrated on what it was that I wanted. And then here we are. So we started out the romance comedy. It was funny, it was fun, blah blah blah. Then there was the tragedy, and then there was the drama, and now we're back to, like I said, the romantic comedy part. We still have our inner workings of, there's still some drama sometimes. Um
But I think a lot of people out there have their own. They're living their own romantic comedies to a certain extent, but don't recognize it because it doesn't look like what their neighbors have or what somebody else does, and that comparison comes into play. And I think we just need to be looking out specifically for our own, almost like selfish needs. But I mean, like for us as a couple, not me as an individual being selfish, but us as a couple. And if you feel as if, if you're not married and you're listening and you're feeling, okay, well, when's this going to happen for me? Stop looking. Stop looking for that true love. Stop looking for, that rom-com, that romantic comedy, and just be. We talked about doing something new, being that puzzle. If you, like you said, you talked about the rut, going to work, going to church, going to the grocery store, going home, wash, rinse, repeat, doing it over and over again. Do something a little different and watch how things develop. But still think about, talk about, pray about the situation that you want when it comes to that true love, finding that true love. It is, I believe it's out there for everyone, but it's about making yourself open to the opportunity for that true love.
But, and then just like you said too, when we met, we were not trying to be together. I was not trying to be, I didn't want to meet Lovey. Lovey didn't want to meet me. I was having fun with my nieces and just going out, just chilling and having just, oh, what we doing, this weekend, blah, 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 whatever. And it just happened. I wasn't, even though I wasn't like looking for him, I still had in mind, this is what I want. And, when you start you hear enough about it doesn't exist, you might start believing that, that, well, maybe it's not, it doesn't exist. So I was like, I don't feel like being bothered with another headache or another fuddy-dud or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because how we met was basically something that I would never normally do. The only reason why we met is because I went with my mom's best friend to her Christmas party because her son couldn't attend. I would normally be like, nah, you know what, I'm
I don't
good.
want to do that. Right.
I was like, I don't want to go with my auntie to her party.
To a Christmas party.
But, at that time, I was going to school, working 3 jobs, had, single parent.
Doing Amway.
No, it was even including that. And I just needed to get away. I needed something different just to take my mind off of everything that was going on. So I thought, you know what, let me do that. Just get out. So I thought it would be fun, just to go and spend some time with my auntie. And that's how we came. Normally, I wouldn't have been there. And that was the catalyst that got everything rolling.
But it's also, like I said, that's the stuff of, that's a movie. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is. It happens that way in the movies. And because it hasn't happened that way for a lot of people, then they're like, oh, that doesn't exist. And then the whole, then they got married and they lived happily ever after.
Wait, what? Okay, but wait, what was the status for the married versus divorce versus never married as far as for true love?
Have you ever experienced it?
Yeah.
85%. Were you not listening?
No, I'm just saying. So
85% of the married people said yes, they've experienced true love. And 15% said no.
Okay, so 85%. So it is real. So that romantic comedy. So 85%. I'm just going to assume that 85%, were married to their true love, and that might not be the case. They might have experienced true love, and then whatever the situation may be, they're no longer with that true love, but they've at least experienced it. But I want to believe that 85% of the people that were married and said that they believe in true love, that they experienced it, are married to their true love. So there's something there within that 85% that says, yes, this happens. Mm-hmm. So the romantic comedy is there. And I'm generally a person who says, like, I don't believe in this whole romantic comedy stuff. But it's there. And then especially when you point out that, dang, we live the romantic comedy. Well, and we've met quite a few people.
And yes, we have. But then the other thing that I find to be kind of funny too is how, we're the comedies or the books are so easily and so quick to be discarded or disregarded, I should say. Because it's just fake or it's just on TV. And so because it's on TV, that means that it's not going to happen. But if we think about everything that we've seen on TV, how it's come to be, then why is it that it can't come to be for the love, relationships? So case in point, what is that? The self-driving cars.
Oh, like Tesla?
Yeah, okay. Or
remember,
Google or whatever it is.
Remember Knight Rider?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Knight Rider was and everybody loved Knight Rider.
It's like, Kit, come get me.
Kit came and got him or whatever.
Yeah, and it can do that now with Tesla where, it says, come pick me up or meet me or whatever, and the car will start up and drive to where you're at.
Dick Tracy, did you say had a phone?
Oh, and his
or
wrist.
Or is it the
Go-Go gadget? No, it was Dick
Inspector
Tracy.
Gadget.
At
So
his watch phone,
so Apple Watch.
Apple Watch.
There was what is his name? Iron Man. The first time I ever seen the whole, you know, the mock up or whatever, and he's swiping stuff, and
Oh, all
then he
right.
had
That
something,
exists.
and then yeah, you know, 3D printers, stuff like that. I saw all that stuff on TV or in a movie years and years and years and years and years ago. So I feel like we're okay with saying that stuff can be, or you know, we'll accept all of that, but we won't accept the fact that I can meet someone and I can fall in love with them, just like have a whole romantic comedy, and I can live happily ever after. Now granted, they don't show
Rom-coms are
you
real.
yeah, they don't show you the whole, oh, and then this is what happened later on in life. Well, because the movie has to end at some point, you know, but that doesn't mean that just because you work at it that it's horrible. Because why would you, no one would ever be married for any length of
Oh,
time,
right. If people didn't put in the work.
because you have to put in the work. But putting in the work doesn't make it not be, it doesn't make you not be happy. You know, it's unfortunate when only one person is putting the work in, or it's something that you just don't want to do. And you know, you have those type of relationships too
Okay,
where,
yeah, but you're going down another path now.
no, I'm just saying that that does happen where we're married, and I think that, okay, well, that's it. You know,
Well,
all I have to do is say this, but it, some the work is, it becomes a good stuff.
that's still part of true love. You
Yeah.
know, so I like where you're going with that. Okay, so I see what you're saying. It's like
Yeah.
even though it's
Apologize.
hard,
No.
even though it's work, it's hard work. Just because it's hard work doesn't mean that it doesn't mean
That we're not living happily ever after.
that it's not part of the true love. I got you. I
It's
got
not
you.
that I'm not happy. I'm happy
I'm a
is
little
when,
hard headed.
I know.
I got you.
I'm happy is when we're working, when we're, you know, we're
It's the
working towards
process.
something.
Yeah, the journey is what it's all about, and the journey, you know, towards the happiness isn't a destination. It's part of the process.
But we say that for everything else, and it can apply to everything else. But when it comes to relationships and love and being in marriage or whatever, and the romance of it all, it doesn't apply, which I think it's ridiculous. To me, it's ridiculous just because I feel like I'm living proof that, yes, romance novels and rom coms are true, because I feel like we're living that.
Okay, and you know what? That's going to be the name of the podcast. Rom-coms are true. Rom-coms are
Rom-coms.
real. You know,
Yeah.
and look, I tell you what else is real. Married into Crazy Gear. So it is coming to fruition where we'll be opening up our virtual store very soon. And you too can let everybody know how married into crazy you are with a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or a hat or a beanie or a hoodie. There's
Or
a
a
variety,
mug.
or a mug. You know, so we'll have those things. It's going to be like a very limited offering, but you can. No, we're going to be opening the store very soon. But what you can do is go to shop.marriedintocrazy.com, and either A, the store will be open, or B, you'll be able to actually leave your email address and get notification as soon as the store opens. We're working on a few more things this week to get it all tightened up. We're trying to make it the best experience possible for you, and that's coming as well. So that is as real as romantic comedies are. So that's right around the corner. So we wanted to put that out there, and you know what? I think this is a good place to end. That it is Valentine's Day. It's getting late. I don't want her to fall asleep just yet. So let's hope to goodness that I recorded this time and that we pressed all the right buttons.
Because if not, there won't be a podcast on Wednesday, y'all. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying it too.
I know you are. I know you are. So, hey, we hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Please do not forget to go check out the Scenario Radio Show. And again, this isn't about us. This is about, there's two other couples that were interviewed. And this amazing group, I think you should listen to them every single week. I subscribe. I listen to them. I've actually gone into their archive and started listening to previous episodes. And their curated playlist on Spotify are very cool. Some really dope ones. And the conversations are extremely interesting and hilarious. So go there, check out the interview that we had with them, and then what they have in their archive as well. So until the next time,
Be blessed.
bye.
Bye bye.